Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey, users and subscribers, welcome to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. This episode is one that I want you to like, share widely as possible. An explosive interview took place with both Amicia and Angie, the cousin of Subryan. I want to first of all give all thanks and credits to Carlota Taylor. Carlota Taylor is the person who hosted the interview on her program, which is called No More Flinching Talk. I will link in the comments or in the description of the video exactly where you can go and watch the full interview that was conducted by Carlota. It was riveting and gripping, and lots more information has come to the surface. So what I have done is I have pulled out some of the key things that were said by both the mother and by the cousin Angie, who has stood as a powerhouse for the Younge family throughout this case and now in the aftermath of the child's funeral. We are going to be unpicking some of the key information that has been shared with the public to ensure that this information never misses all the relevant ears. So, first of all, let's listen to the first initial part of the interview where Amicia spoke from the heart about how the entire thing has had an impact on her.
To be honest, since the burial, I can't say I'm 100%. I'm in between lost, in between trying to figure out, asking myself like what if, or a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Sometimes I try to tell myself it is not real.
Yeah.
You know, many times you go into bed at night crying yourself to sleep because it is hard. This is hard. I don't even wish this. If I had an enemy, I don't even wish this on my enemy.
Wow.
Because my Adriana was just a sweet soul, sweet person. Especially when it comes to her brother and sister, you know, she taking care of them and ensuring that they're doing the right stuff for her. She's that kind of person. She likes cooking and baking, and when I'm home on my day off, I tell anybody. I never know when Gabriella said come home from school, but when Adriana home, if I sleep in, she gonna come on bed and make sure I know she reach home. And we would just gaff. That was like my part, no. You know, you gaff and these stuff. So it's hard. It's really hard. I cry myself to sleep many nights. Many nights. Many nights. And tomorrow is her graduation. I really just had wanted to just go and just uplift her certificate and come back because you know me being there and everybody else is there with their child for her graduation, and I had so much of plans with her for her graduation, and then she's in the top 10. She did well and I don't have her, so I gotta deal with that tomorrow. So to be honest, I would just like to say I know there's a lot of people that is supporting me in all sorts of forms. And I would just like to say thank you because for persons, as much as there's a lot of people out there condemning and saying all sorts of stuff, there is more love than hate for me. Because there's a lot of people out there that's, you know, giving it, showing it, helping. And I'm forever grateful for that. Because nobody knows what I deal with when I'm home in this house by myself or, you know. So I'm grateful for that and I'm thankful for that. I'm I'm grateful to be a part of the No More of no more flinching. It at first, I try to control my emotions, but I'm glad that I'm able to say whatever little I can about my Adriana. And for Angie, she's like a God sent angel for us. Left alone. We haven't known her. If it wasn't for Adriana and this whole situation we're going through, so lots of love from her and support, and yeah. Um, I would just encourage people to pray for my family. Pray with us that justice will be served someday for my daughter, because she didn't deserve any of this. She didn't deserve
Mm.
any of this.
What I truly appreciated about how Carlota did this interview is that she never pushed for the mother of Adriana Younge to actually rehash details and relive the trauma that she experienced. She was very sensitive to how she felt, and she gave her the opportunity to allow for a mediator, which is Angie in this case, to stand on the family's behalf and speak on their behalf. That permission was clearly given, and it's clear that they are very comfortable with Angie being their representative and speaking their truth. So this was definitely a very good start to the interview, and it was good to not have her on for the majority of the time that the interview lasted, because it's important that we recognize that she is still mourning, and it is important to also recognize this family has not yet received justice. So first of all, we also want to give congratulations posthumously to Adriana. Today was her graduation. Here is an image of the mother who actually attended the graduation, and celebrated what her daughter had achieved in the past exams, and the fact that she was also an honor roll student. Let's keep listening to the key things, however, that was said by Angie. Boy, one thing with Arna, she is definitely not a woman that is weak. She really knows how to stand up for what she believes in. And I do appreciate her fiery side, but I also appreciate that this woman has the family's best interest at heart. Let's keep listening.
Now, police officer should have checked the entire pool, take the stick, you check there, whatever. He claimed that when the mother said to the instructor that Adriana can swim, the instructor said, okay, no time for search the pool if the child can swim. Now, if the picture that you're pointing there, as a grandmother, look how many family members are there. Right. You took Adriana, not only Adriana, you took her brother, you took her sister, you took other children with you all. Why are you turning your back? And I'm going to go a little further and judge a little here. You had already know what was going on. So you already present yourself in a way, in case if it happened, to say, oh, I was sitting in this direction. I didn't see. But if you look at the picture closely, the person in the blue, Subryan'S mom, that was sitting, she was facing where the children were at in the pool. So if the grandmother did not see, somebody see something. Why didn't they, all the entire family who was there? Because we're not looking about family anymore. We're looking at the loss, a death of a child. Even to Subryan'S mother and other family members before Subryan got there were persons who already told Amicia had already called some of her workmates and colleagues to go there before she got there. And they all overheard Subryan'S mother and other family members saying if Subryan come and started to behave stupid, they're gonna put a sound trashing on him. Now make it make sense. This man, y'all cannot find this man child. You expect him to come? There was Doubleday hotel owner's son was standing outside of the pool with a phone in his hand, a towel over his shoulder. my assumption of when I saw Adriana came out of the pool and her face had that discoloration, my assumption was that apparently the towel that he had over his shoulder, at the back of that towel, had some form of chemical, chlorine or some sort. So when she was called out by Steffon, and I'm not going to say allegedly, because the child said she heard and saw when Steffon called Adriana out of the pool. So when she was called, when Adriana was called out and led by Steffon to our killer, maybe that's what he put over her face to block her out. She can't pop the gag order any longer because the woman is in custody of her child now. So she cannot pop the gag order any longer. So let's see where that goes. However, there was a secret meeting, and if this has been was thoroughly investigated, the police was going to know there was a secret meeting between Steffon, his Subryan'S mom, and the lady with the broad gray hat that was there that was trying to chant over Adriana's body the day before the incident. Now, after the incident, Mr. Steffon went into the car, as he was saying, he was so confused. And God have a way of exposing people, because I did not see a gun to his head. I did not see a knife at his throat, but these are words verbatim from Steffon. First, he was saying, pretending in the car as, Subryan's daughter went missing, my little cousin went missing, and we can't even find a body. Now, excuse me, we are talking about a missing person. What type of a body are you talking about? Did you know that there was going to be a body?
Now, most of what Angie is saying here, we have already analyzed and pointed out on this channel. Yes, we have. We have identified the fact that there was something very off about Steffon's speech when he went live, the things he said, the fact that he said he wanted to, they're going to have to fix it like a crime scene, the fact that he said, he can't find their body, the child's body. This in itself is highly suspicious and almost feels as though he made a Freudian slip. He spoke out some truths that his physical self was trying to hide, but his subconscious would not allow him to hide. We've made that very clear already. But there is one thing that Angie said that really stood out at me. It is clear now that they now have access to the child, the 14-year-old, upon whom there was a gag order. And this child is now singing like a canary. She's talking. And having access to the child has opened up even more discussions about what took place on that day. It is clear to me that this 14-year-old child has got information that is crucial to the case. She is saying that the child saw when Steffon beckoned and called out Adriana from the pool and took her to the person who is potentially the killer. This is a very, very crucial piece of information, quite serious an allegation indeed. She also spoke about the son and the fact that he had a towel with chemicals on it, which was possibly chlorine. And she is speculating that this towel with the chlorine may have been used in a way to subdue Adriana. So lots of different detail popping up out of this conversation. Let's keep listening.
Well, you have to talk about a body, because what was actually put in the public to deal with, get ready for a recovery of a body. But maybe the public did not read into what he was actually saying. Also, I'm going to go a little further of another thing Steffon did. Steffon was the first person to go live and start saying stuff like, them little girls with them boyfriend. Next, the police came out with a statement stating that they saw Adriana went into a SUV of some Orlando guy. right?
Right.
Steffon also pretend. Now, mind you, Steffon was a DJ at this place, was working at Dede Hotel, used to DJ there. Now, if you were DJing at a place for so long, you meant to tell me you don't really know certain parts of this place? Because when he exited his vehicle, Steffon is pretending that he don't know what the name was called, Skyliner or something. There was a person standby, had to let him know what the name of the place called. And he's like, oh, yeah. You know, it's like if he's pretending, putting himself, no, he don't want the public to know that, okay, you know, I used to be here. I know what's going on, because I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. But Steffon was working there before. Steffon know the hotel owner's son personally. He knows what this family does personally. So whatever bargain that's got to make before a country sell. That's what we normally send the Caribbean. Right? Now, he had to know, this man apparently said, oh, maybe we need a sacrifice, because there's a calendar that was found with how many more sacrificial work they had wanted to get done. So he is claiming that, oh, we need, not claim, sorry. Probably the hotel owner said to him, we need an 11-year-old virgin to sacrifice whatever. And the fittest person, Steffon, decided to choose to give Adriana. She's 11 and she was a virgin. Right? Now, when the crowd was there was a blue suitcase that was about to exit the building. Who was close up to that suitcase? All the family members were away. Now, if you were that close and you saw a police officer does not have on his body camera, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt that he did not saw that at the moment. You cannot tell me he did not saw when the man was putting on that body camera back on to ask question, officer, why did you do that? Why did you take off your body camera? Or say something, right? Why didn't he say something to that man? Why didn't he draw attention and say, excuse me, what's in the blue suitcase? I need to see what's in the blue suitcase. Nothing, did not draw attention. All he stood there, and if you see that video, you will see his body language. Body language speaks a lot. You could see Steffon was in cold sweat, right? Steffon is like wiping his forehead, wiping his arms on his palm. So let me guess. Was it Adriana in that suitcase? Because it was a big enough suitcase to hold a body of a child. And was Steffon the person to get rid of that body? In case if he has been flying the road with speed and any police officer stopped him, all he can simply say, oh, my cousin missing at the hotel I'm trying to see because the police said she went with Orlando. I'm going in search of Orlando. Why didn't you say anything about that suitcase? Why were you so close? Another thing that really mind-bothering to me is the fact of when Steffon decided to say, everything is so confused right now. We have to make it and put it and fix it and make it look like a crime. That alone in itself should have had Steffon in jail, or at least, waiting for a trial.
So are we to understand that to date, Steffon has not been questioned or interrogated by the police? There has been no questioning of this family member? Why is this? Are you to tell me that despite the things that Steffon has said, despite the actions of Steffon, there has been no suspicion? So it's not a case of everybody's a suspect until they prove otherwise. Some people are exempt. This does not sound right at all. And it is clear that the president has indeed dropped the ball and has washed his hands of this case. He believes he has done everything he needs to do. I've said it before. He has already said it. Nobody can say anything to him because everything he promised he has delivered. But in what way have you delivered if you have got people who were clearly present when the child had gone missing, moving around, unquestioned, no investigation directed towards them. This is very strange indeed. Let's keep listening.
First of all, I was told by Amicia and Subryan. Subryan mom had asked for the children to go out with her. That was after Easter. However, Subryan denied. He did not want the children to go. He was not feeling well on that day. Amicia was already at work. So even though Subryan denied, his mother in return turned and called Amicia while she was at work, asking her if it's okay. She would like the children to come with her. They're going out for, she said, at a beach. She said the children can walk with change of clothing in case if they go swimming. So Amicia did not know that the mother had already asked Subryan, and he said no. So Amicia told her, okay, sure, let them go ahead. However, at no point in time did the mother, Subryan mother, ever mention to Amicia that she was going to take these children to the Doubleday Hotel. If she had mentioned that, Amicia was going to tell her no, knowing the fact that they all living across the river there. They all know the history of Doubleday Hotel. She was not going to be okay with that. But now that everything happened, we all now clearly aware that the mother, when she asked for these children to go by her, that is straight where she took them. She lied about when to the first place and the pool was expensive. It was expensive to go in. That was a lie. So it was directly Doubleday Hotel. She was going with these kids and she had known that all along. Okay, what sticks out to me? First and foremost, if you're going to take someone, child or children, first of all, I must say this, it is sad that this grandmother took 3 children and only returned 2. That alone in itself is heartbreaking. Now, you take these children there as a grandmother. Your duty is to protect these children, whether or not they can or cannot swim. In a case with Adriana, I want to make it clear, Adriana is a swimmer. She could have swum. All right. So for the fact that we are hearing about drowning, that's wrong. I'm going to start from the beginning of what sticks out to me really. Now, there is a child went missing in an establishment. The police has been called in. The first thing that is mind-bothering, when Subryan was called to the hotel, his mother, as he arrived there, his mother came past him with a police officer and entered the building. The mother never said at any time, oh, let me stop and say, let my son know I'm sorry, or run to him, hug him, cry. Oh, a true grandmother will be tearing up. A grandmother will be like going to her son, like distraught, like, I'm sorry, my son. Oh my God, I can't find your daughter. Take him in the building with you. Why you and the police officer alone? You're passing your son like when someone pass exam, like you don't even know who he is, and you enter the building with this police officer. Mind you, this is this man's child. Mm. You enter the building. The police officers, they were there to protect the building, not looking at the fact, well, we are dealing with a missing person here. And when we speak of missing person, we are speaking of a child, not an adult, a child.
Right.
It was business as usual. At one point, someone even pulled a gun at Subryan. So it's like, instead of you said to the parent, okay, come with me, let us get to the manager for this building, let us shut this building down, let us cart off this pool, let everyone else come out of this pool. by the pool always have a pool stick. You know, there was a swimming instructor there. Mind you, I have heard the hotel owner's son came out and said, oh, they just checked the shallow part. That's nonsense.
So do you see why it is so important that we do not let go off of the Justice for Adriana case? Because going silent will lose these crucial details that need to be held by the public. There needs to be a complete focus on all the family members that were present the day this child died. The day she went missing and the day she resurfaced holds crucial information. Now you're telling me that this grandmother insisted on taking Adriana to the pool, even after her own son had refused to take her. He did not want the child to go on any trip with this grandmother. Remember, I had questioned this before, saying, how is it that you knew that there was some tension there, there was some unequal treatment, favorite grandchildren and all of that, and you still facilitated Adriana going? Now, she then went to the mother of Adriana, and the mother had to consider it, probably because Adriana was all excited and really wanted to go. She gave in. But that's clearly deceptive and manipulative to do that. She came in her interview and said that, listen, they went to all these other resorts. It was so much more expensive. So then they decided to go to the double day. Remember, the aunt Amika had come out and said that Adriana was excited to go to the double day hotel. And I said, so is it that there was always a plan to go to the double day hotel? Angie is now shedding light on this. She is saying that indeed it was always the plan. And when the grandmother came out with this story about originally going to some other resort, it was too expensive, etc., that all of this was a lie. These are the claims of Angie, the cousin of Subryan. Let's keep listening.
The fact that Leroy Smith, the police officer, took all of the camera equipment away, that's mind-blowing. Now, I don't know what's going on with the Guyana police force. However, that they should have already been charged. You have an establishment where persons are coming from all over the globe to come to your establishment with children, and you do not have a lifeguard. That's number one. You do not have a camera working. Now, I have camera all over my home. There's two things happen with camera. If it damaged, you replaced it. If it's dead, if it's one that you just have to be charged, you charge it up. I never heard of like servicing camera. Why are we servicing camera? What part of the camera deserves servicing? When you can go and pick up a camera, set anywhere and replace it back. But unfortunately, a few days prior to that incident, someone stole something, but the set camera could have captured that. They could have gone to those set camera to find what was stolen. However, you could not have go to this camera to find a body. And if you look at the history of Doubleday Hotel, whenever a body is placed in the pool, unfortunately, the camera does not work on that day. The parents are still yet to see the video of their baby left that hotel. The officer was just talking. He didn't open his phone to show anybody. The only time his phone is open is when somebody called him. Who kept calling you? And it is sad. And this alone could tell you what else could have went down in Guyana, and innocent persons went to prison for it. Hadn't the parents, hadn't God spoke to Subryan Hart and told him to stay there. And God spoke to Subryan and he telling the crowd, I ain't moving from here. My daughter is right there. I have a gut feelings. She is right. That's a connection with a father and a child.
Yes.
That alone to just show and tell how strong the bond between the two of them were. For him not to move from there. Now, hadn't they stood the course, that suitcase, because if you check how her body went, you could have told they fold her up in that suitcase. So she leave there, like in that stage, how they had her in the pool. Hadn't they found her there, you wasn't gonna hear anything, because our body was gonna find somewhere, because Steffon would have been the designated driver. And it is sad. And it is sad to see that here this country is locking up persons when they're standing in solidarity. I'm not calling that protest. They're supporting that family. So are you becoming a dictatorship government so slowly because of this crime? You did a thing so fast, you catch persons, and I'm not knocking judges because I have judges, friends and stuff. I'm not knocking judges, but come on. Aren't you supposed to be an independent body? If somebody bring a person before you, don't just throw them in jail right away. Look at all the aspect. It's a distraction, it's a tactic, and it's a form of fear, driving fear into the nation. So I dare you to speak out, because this is what's going to happen to you if you speak out.
Mm.
But I honestly wish they had more like me. Because if you ain't kill me, I am going to continue to speak.
Mm.
Because when I came on this earth, God put me here with potential. I am going to speak regardless of what. You can hold a gun to my head. Once you pull the trigger and blow it out, I am going to speak and speak the truth. Persons have to stop looking at, oh, I'm fearful of what this one said. Or they can't lock everybody up. You have to stand up. Moreover, this is a time we are going into election season in Guyana. You have to stand up. You have to let your voice be heard. Remind this nation of what transpired under this government. Because the oil that Guyana have, and I'm not straying from the topic, I am just saying the oil that Guyana have, they don't care how many blood have to be shed. They're not going to come out. Campaign. Remind them of Adriana alone. Look at the Henry boys. Look at the two young men up Linden. The grandmother, let me come back to this matter. The grandmother never, ever went to Subryan, who is her son, and Amicia, and said, I am sorry. Just that much. Just that much. Say, I am sorry that I have failed you, my son. I'm sorry I failed you, my daughter-in-law. That I asked for your child to come out. But instead, she turned around and she is like cursing out, carrying on. Her kids there, or rest of children, they're carrying on. She's lying on the sister, saying, oh, the sister tried to fight her the funeral day. When the world saw, the sister was talking to Steffon's sister and Subryan's sister. She didn't even saw that grandmother. Then they're going out saying one time the cousin, the best friend, of Subryan went out is claiming that, oh, Subryan take money from the hotel owner. Where is the money? How all of a sudden your name was on the list, the wanted bulletin list, when it was Subryan and Amicia who called the president and you're the only person name came off the list. They let the president know, no, he was with us all along because he was the driver on the day when Adriana had the autopsy done. And when he came crying, The president took his name off, but he have to go into the station. So when you go into the station, what did they do? They told you, okay, I want you to set Subryan up, because the first thing he came with was a gun, wanted to give Subryan a gun. And that's there and then Subryan said, move from here. You want it, you keep it. Don't come around me with this. So after Subryan didn't accept that gun, Subryan leave and came up here for his daughter autopsy. You gone and you got your mouth all over saying you got proof. Another thing, all of them should have been held accountable. Well, if you're claiming that you have proof, then okay, that this father take money, then you're actually saying this child did not drown. You're saying everything that we all know. The sister that is saying now that Amicia's sister took money for her niece. So what all of you are saying is what we all saw and witnessed before our eyes, a live murder of a child on live television. And then the disrespect of taking the murdered body of the child from where you murdered her and throw her in the pool like a rag with a sheet. And then when the child came out of the pool, the police did not come to perform CPR. Whether if you looking and seeing she dead, still try to perform CPR. At least try. It's better to try and fail than not to try at all.
Now, in case you're wondering who it is that Angie is speaking about here, she is referring to this character who came out and was making all kind of claims that Subryan had accepted blood money basically for Adriana.
Who got in jail?
Subryan going to jail.
Why?
You know why he collect the people their money?
What do you mean he collect the people their money?
Sacrifice money, Subryan.
So it's not justice. You get it. There is the justice so he take. There is what he accept. Cash.
Cash. That's the mistake he make.
Shouldn't take who money as a dean.
They money.
Them pay. They pay.
Yeah.
I thought this as a dean sponsoring the.
Try to help, but they fuck around the bosses.
So he get justice. He now get jail for the man. Nobody who's supposed to get jail now go get jail. They,
So what's up?
so he searched the place when them give you the okay to search the place. And he know his daughter was in there.
Yeah.
And he ain't gonna search the place. Watch right there. It's me. Are you talking to? Yeah, you got an extra bread, you want bread, but is you talking though?
She's saying that this man had his name on the wanted list. He was one of the suspects. They then noticed that his name came off, even though they actually presented to the police that he was present with them all along. Shortly after, this same character tried to give Subryan a weapon, and Subryan refused it. She is alleging that this was a setup, basically giving some opportunity for the police to arrest Subryan. She's also saying that the sister is claiming that Amika accepted money from the Doubleday owner, all of which she's claiming is a lie. And that even if something went like this, it all points to the fact that a murder took place on the site of the Doubleday Hotel and not necessarily in the pool. She has even encouraged them that if they had proof of these allegations to come forward. But of course, nobody's going to come forward because all of this is about distraction. Let's keep listening.
Darren Wade. Darren Wade, if you are the family attorney and the family said to you, I do not want this person. There were 2 names recommended to you. You cannot kill my child and expect me to go with what you want me to go with. You have to give me that right and let me go with who my heart wants me to go with. Now, they was never aware of Dr. Collins from Delaware. The Guyana government requested for 2 pathologists from Mount Sinai. However, Darren Wade requested for his friend and buddy, Collins. Now, he brought in Collins 2 days prior to the autopsy. Did not, and I repeat, did not mention to the family at no time that Collins were already in the country. Now, you would expect if you are my attorney, we're talking and dealing with transparency here. You never at no time mentioned to the family that this pathologist is in the country. Let us sit down and talk for a minute, or let us have a press briefing, a press conference before whatever. Is transparency we're looking for. The world saw the murder of this child already, so everything else needs to be out there. When Amicia, they came up here for the second autopsy, Amicia was trying to get on to Dr. Collins because there were some questions. There are questions more than answers. However, they called along with one of Amicia's cousins. They tried to call his office and he was not answering them. He just answered the cousin, but the fearing him, like he didn't want to talk much with the cousin. He don't want to answer their number every time they called. So I'm living here in the US, Amicia asked me if it's okay, I can call this number for her and add her to the call. I called, I got the secretary first, who then was kind of shaky herself, telling me to give her my information and she's going to have him call me back. However, when he did call me back, and I'm speaking of Dr. Collins, when Dr. Collins did call me back, Dr. Collins called me from a private number. I did not appreciate that because I'm not here to threaten you. The parents want to talk to you. I am calling you from my personal number. I didn't block my number. Why are you blocking your number? I already have your number. So what sense you blocking your number? Anyway, he talked with me a little bit. He didn't want to talk to the mothers. I'm telling him, I don't want to talk to you without the mother. Is it okay if I could put the mother on the call? Whatever. Since he heard the mother name, he is like, he's going crazy. Like when somebody guilty of knowing that, oh my God, I am the reason why everything the way it is right now because of it stems from me and this attorney. So it's like you can face the mother. You can tell and sense the guiltiness in him. I asked him to speak to Dr. Todd. He is going more crazy by just airing the name alone. The way we say, no. It's like if somebody fearful for their life. I did put the mother on the call. No, he did call back. Sorry. He hung up and said he's going to call me back. He's got to go and come out from this meeting and he's going to call me back. When he did call me back, he called me back with open number. I add the mother to the call. The mother began to ask him a few questions. As she began to cry, oh my Lord, it's like I am reliving just that moment that I witnessed on that day. As the mother is asking him questions, this man is going crazy and shouting to the top of his voice, he wants to speak to me. Please, I don't want to speak to the mother. I don't want to speak to the mother. I want to speak to you. Now, I became fearful because I'm like, this ain't no ordinary case. Why you want to get me wrapped up by only want to speak to me alone? You're not going to go and say what I did not say. So I said to him, as the mother is saying, yes, you can go ahead, Angie, and speak to him. I said on the phone, I said, for me to speak to you, I would have to record you and play everything for the mother to hear. I am not going to speak to you alone. He never disagreed. He never said, do not record me. I called on my daughter while he was rattling off his mouth. The mother gave me the go ahead to talk with him. Dr. Collins was rattling his mouth and saying a lot of things that I will not say on the air. As my daughter bring the recorder, I said to him, I said, I got the recorder. I'm now turning it on. And as he continued talking, my first question that I asked him, please, okay, can you be honest with me? Because I called you with my correct number. I gave you my correct name. And I'm dealing with honesty. And I started to bring in God because I'm not going to do nothing without God. And I started to, let him know that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we all have to speak to God about what we did on this earth. I went off to let him know about, it's a saying that I always said, when you die, there are 2 numbers on your casket. One is the date of birth, a dash, and the date of death. God is only responsible for the date of birth and the date of death. However, the dash that you see between those 2 numbers is what you have to answer to God for in how you spend those dash. And as I started to talk to him, he broke down and he started to say to me, I'm going to be honest with you. I lied to my workplace. I didn't let them know where I was going. I let them know I just need a 2 days for an important business meeting and with a family. And I went to Guyana. Darren Wade took me. He paid for everything for me. He paid for the hotel for me. And he began to let me know everything. And he began to say to me that I am still fearful. I'm so fearful for my life. You don't know. I'm fearful for my life. So I'm questionable. I'm like, you're an American citizen? He said, yeah. Oh, well, why? Why you ask? I said, because you're an American citizen. You're back on American soil. There is nothing they can do to you. I said, what is more important to you? You hiding or covering up for a friend? Or we come after you and sue you? Because there's where it's going to end up if you don't come out and tell the truth. I said, and I'm not saying we're suing you. I'm just saying something to you now. Which is more important? All the years that you went to college and study, or you holding a lie for a friend? I said, you choose. Choices that you make in life, it determines your future from here onward out. And as I start talking to him, he was talking to the point where he started to say, speaking about, he saw a piece of cotton wool. And when I cautioned him, it's like if he's like, no, I didn't mean cotton wool. No, did I say that? I didn't say that. Like he kind of started trying to gather himself back to get himself back on track with what he was saying to me. And there's other stuff that he went on saying. But all in all, this family, not only was their trusts were betrayed and murdered by the Guyana police force, the grandmother, the cousin, all the other members of the family who were there to protect these children. Their trust was also murdered and betrayed by the first attorney, who they had also dearly and give the name as a family attorney. You know the word family, Family, the 3 end letters, meaning I love you. So if I give you this name, how can you betray my trust? If I trust you and love you that much to be the voice for me, who is a voiceless right now, for the voice for Adriana, who has no voice right now, how can you betray that trust? And as a pathologist, how you're claiming now that, you did not go through your job, but at the end of the day, when you leave, you were still employed with Delaware, the state of Delaware. You even went and used your jacket with the logo on it. So what are you talking about? Why wouldn't you answer the family? Why wouldn't you speak to the attorney? I never went to school for law.
Wow. So Dr. Collins is fearful for his life to the point where he has to silence himself. That amount of fear. So clearly somebody threatened him. On that day when all the gunshots and stuff was going on towards the citizens that were protesting and the doctor had to be scurried away, something happened at the time when he was with Wade and the family were not in the room with him. What took place that made Dr. Collins so scared, so nervous that he couldn't speak? In addition, she is making it clear that Dr. Collins has refused to speak to the current attorney. not to the family nor the attorney. He's not speaking to them at all. So something is definitely up with Dr. Collins, and clearly it's going to take litigation to get him to speak. Now, he's probably aware that this is going to cost the family, and he's probably reliant on the fact that there won't be any support for the family going forward. Therefore, they're not going to raise enough money. They're not going to be able to afford to actually take him to court. So he is pleading the fifth, saying absolutely nothing.
I would like to ask everyone at the sound of my voice, everyone in Guyana, to please stand up for what is right. Cause it what it will. Stand up for justice for Adriana, not only Adriana Younge, but for all the other little girls and boys in Guyana, for Adriana two siblings, for the voiceless. Stand up and speak out. Let us continue to call our name. If every day you have to send a purple heart, put a purple heart out there, all those who have platforms. I don't have any social media. I have never spoke out on a social media before. It's my first time speaking out on a social media because Adriana not only is her a child, she is my blood. And like I said, I don't care who I related to. If you wrong, you wrong. It ain't got two ways in that. It is sad to see that the Guyana government, the system has failed this family. If, just imagine for a second, if the president, that is the highest of the highest office in the land, will not fight for you. The police officer will not defend you. The court system will, I don't know where it goes so far, but I'm saying will not defend you. Then what is next for you? Like I would always encourage the mother. God said, I am your battle fighter. I am your way maker. I am your mountain mover. I am your sustainer. I am your deliverer. He said in his word, cast all your cares and burden upon me, for I am your burden bearer. And I know this is a burden too big for Amici and Subryan and Amika them to carry. And my continuous encouragement to them is to cast all their cares and their burden upon Jesus Christ, because man will fail us. The reason why man will fail us, when God created this earth, the only thing he did first was place mankind this earth. And when God placed this earth in the hands of man, the first thing that occurred was blood running the vein in the earth. With Cain kill Abel. So nothing good did not come out of that. But I want them to realize, and me to them to realize, God said in his word, he was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised for our iniquity. The chastisement of our peace is upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. The Lord will heal them. The Lord will stand up for them. He said, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay. And I am saying tonight, I am decreeing and declaring in the name of Jesus tonight. Yes, weapons will form in our life. They will never prosper. I'm decreeing and declaring tonight that in this case of Adriana Younge, justice will prevail. Justice will serve. God is the one who is fighting this battle because we place it in his hands. I just would like to ask persons to please, whenever, like I said, whenever they're going on their social media platform every day, just remember Adriana by, placing a purple heart, placing justice for Adriana. We have to keep her name out there, because when you remain silent, you're not saying anything. We cannot do this on our own. We need the nation. Just as we all sat, the nation sat and saw what happened. We all need the nation in fighting and bringing justice, for Adriana. I'm also asking for persons who would like to continue supporting the family of Adriana Younge by any way, means, or necessary by contributing or donating towards the GoFundMe or the Zelle for Alana Trotz, if they can please do so, because we have a far way to go. We're in the process of legal proceedings now. We're going into that stage, and you have to have hands to get stuff going. We already know they hotel owner, they are rich and they have the money to buy out, but I decree and I declare in Jesus' name that ain't no buyout gonna pass here. And no buyout is gonna pass here. Because once you place things in God's hands, and don't mind what happened in the world, God has the last and the final say. So I would like to thank everyone who has supported the Younge's family in whatever way, mean, or necessary. I just would like to say thank you on behalf of Amici and Subryan. I would like to say thank you very much. Please continue to speak out. Please continue to remember her name as you go forward, because it's not just fighting for Adriana, it's to make sure and ensure that this never happened in the history, not only in Guyana, in nowhere else in the world. When you see things like this, speak out.
And just watch and see the play, people. Watch and see how many of the bloggers who came out here talking about justice for Adriana, watch and see how quickly they drop this case. Because now they think, well, there is nothing much that they can do because the family won't speak to us. And, the family choosing to speak to other bloggers. So, we're not going to run their story anymore. Watch and see. Because not everybody out here is about justice for this child. Some people are about justice for their pockets, their views, their subscriptions. Yes. And we want to see that this case gets dealt with properly. Thank you, Angie, for always standing up for what is right. Thank you, Angie, for standing for this family and for justice where this little girl is concerned. Because many will drop the ball. Many will start to say, well, it's over and done with. There's nothing that we can do. And this is the kind of slackness that basically corrupt governments depend on. They want us to go still in the night. They want the voices out there to be silenced. They want us to forget this little girl's demise. So, if you believe in justice for Adriana, if you believe that this case needs to constantly be revisited, highlighted, and kept to the forefront of our minds so that pressure can be placed in high places, drop your purple hearts. Drop your purple hearts in the comments. Just like Angie said, just like this platform has been saying time in memoriam when it comes to being an advocate for children who have been harmed and are without justice. If you've made it this far into the video, please remember to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share, and also click that bell so that you are notified whenever I upload another video. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.